being on Chief Concerns and having JD here, we can actually talk about stuff with a guy who is actually in the thick of things. And I'm going to post the photo here, or the headline, so you guys can know what we're talking about here. So this was posted a little bit before we came on today. Here we go. So Ari Myra, my sports update. The NFL and the NFLPA quietly agreed to confidentially deal that hid the outcome of a collusion grievance, which found the league urged owners to limit guaranteed money after the Deshaun Watson deal. Players weren't told, and it's sparking major backlash inside the union. JD, I mean, obviously, you read this headline, you're like, wow, that's pretty wild that the teams were colluding to kind of not give players guaranteed money. And I think that's just, I mean, for many reasons, that's horrible. But what are your thoughts in hearing this as being a former player?
Really, it's disappointment. Obviously, we think that the union is supposed to be the ones that have our back in good faith, should be trying to negotiate better contracts, better benefits, and whatnot for the players, for our future. And this right here, man, just, speaks of, fraud, collusion. It does. And I'll say this, it is somewhat of betrayal, to be honest with you. And so when you're actually employing guys to come in and do their job to help you out, and then you come find out they're doing back deals, behind closed doors, to the point they're not even wanting to push having guaranteed contracts. Now, how crazy is that? I mean, when I'm telling you this is like the ultimate betrayal. I believe, Marcus, that each executive that got in and spoke about this, every player, every former player needs to hold these guys' feet to the fire, need to hold them accountable, and have them provide some answers. Because, to be honest with you, man, this stuff, man, is absolutely ridiculous on every level of what guys, expect from their union. And a lot of that is integrity, right? To have my best interests at hand. And like I said, if you're leveraging our future on these back deals, then it's absolutely wrong. Be completely transparent. Why wouldn't you be? And so this just tells me that the union, or whoever these guys are not working for us. They're not. They're in bed with the owners and everybody else to try to keep the money down. And that's a shame. And the fact is, Marcus, through all of this, the owners are making more money than anybody, hand over fist. Like, it's ridiculous how much money they're making. It goes up every single year. So this also speaks volumes of selfishness and greed, right? Oh, we want to keep more money. Why? You're not the ones putting yourself in jeopardy for the entertainment, put the people in the seats. Without the guys, you're not going to be making the money that you're making. Really. And so this right here, man, is very disappointing to hear. I shared this article with a couple of guys, with Barbershop TG, Kevin Lockett. There's some names that you can put on your list. Billy Baber, some guys, that I played with, we, kind of threw it out there. And I was just like, wow, can you believe this? The fact is, man, I know a lot of guys that represent us in a lot of different ways through the NFLPA. We got chapter meetings. This is something that's going to come up and that I'm going to definitely discuss and bring up, because we got to have full transparency about what this thing is and why it should never happen again. And so everybody that was part of this needs to be fired. They do. They need to be replaced. This is a shame. It's absolutely a shame. So it seems like they're working for the owners. Really, it's like Roger Goodell. I'm just going to say it for what it is. Roger Goodell is making more money than any other commissioner that's been out there in the NFL, and you know why? It's because he protects the interests of the owners by far. So I guess Marcus, if you're making $55 million or however much money he's making, you could shake hands with guys.
His career earnings to date, about $700 million. His career earnings,
700,
almost $1 billion.
Crazy. Yeah. Hey man, hey, look, this is one of those where you talk about golden parachutes or Enron and all those guys, the CEOs that's making all this money. That's what they're doing. And we know who he's working for. Now it comes to find out that the NFLPA is in bed with these guys as well. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have negotiation and you shouldn't have a little bit of diplomacy to work these things out, right? Good faith, but to collude with these guys and then not bring it out, it's the abdication of your responsibility. Matter of fact, not only that, but it's also against the collective bargaining agreement. It's illegal. That's what that is. So, dude, that's heads got to roll. So why would anyone protect billionaires at the expense of young men putting life and limb at risk? Well, Sasha, great question. It's almost like we see right now in the community today, right? We've seen all these things being passed that more money is going to go to the 1%, the wealthy, than it is to the middle class and the poor people. And it's absolutely ridiculous. Simple fact that, greasing people's palms. Those people right there don't need the money. These owners don't need that money. They got plenty of money. They got more money they can spend, Marcus. They do. And I get, all the players are making a whole lot of money. Yes, they are. But there's a lot of guys that are sitting over here who are hurt, who got CTE or absolutely are being devastated physically and mentally because of the game. Now, guys will still play it, but let's make no mistake about it, okay? The ones that have want more. It's the greed part of it. They want to keep it for themselves. And so it's the same thing, like I said, in society today. What we see, okay, is this abdication of responsibility to the people, all right? And so I think it stinks. To high heaven, it stinks. Absolutely stinks. So that's my 2 cents.
No, and I wanted to hear what you had to say on it because just obviously you played, and so I'm sure you guys have conversations about this kind of stuff, the collusion that. And the thing is too, it's like I'm sure to a level you guys already kind of thought this kind of stuff happened, right? But like now to actually see it come out, it's like wow, like all right, all my suspicions and all the stuff I had thought all along, I hope wasn't true, but now we find out there is some kind of dirty stuff going on behind the scenes.
Well, like Sasha said, this is the way of the world, man. It's the way of the world. And when you see the greed and deceptionness of people who profit off of the back of others, this is exactly what this means. You're showing it right here. Unknown Alias says, is there a way or possibility that players can sue the NFLPA or the NFL over this? I'll tell you what, you better find a way, especially when this thing comes off. It stinks to high heaven, and you absolutely got to expose it. And everybody needs to be held accountable for what they're doing and who've done this, every single one of them. So I do believe that there is something there for sure that you can sue them, okay? Because it's a breach of contract to the players. This is exactly what it is. That's why we employ you to do those things for the union, to the betterment of the players. That's what we ask you to do, okay? And like I said, it's against the collective bargaining agreement to do something like this. Shameful, absolutely shameful. So
yeah. So he also posted this as well. Nearly 6 months after the ruling, the NFLPA is now appealing the arbitration decision that alleged the NFL and teams colluded to limit fully guaranteed contracts.
So nearly 6 months after the ruling, the NFLPA is now appealing the arbitration. So you appeal it, okay? All right. So once it gets exposed, you realize you're not doing your job, and okay, we're going to appeal it. Okay, now
Exactly.
Right, still need to be held accountable for all of it. Right, whatever happened to begin with. So who invited to the table to have this conversation? Somebody should immediately got up and walked out. It's like, no, we're not going to do that. Well, will we do that? Look, I get guys getting paid a lot of money, but hey, guess what? Y'all getting paid a whole lot of money too. Whatever y'all paying that guy, y'all getting 20 times, 50 times more than he's getting. Easy. Easy. So Stanley Moon said there has to be some guaranteed money in the contract, one game, one play, and given Sunday be the last time a player walks again. Can you imagine the conversation? Agreed? Absolutely, Stanley. Well said. And that's exactly what it is. So I've said this, Marcus, we are a commodity. And so we're only worth as much as we're able to give out there on the field. It's almost like, and I get, you got to do your job, but it's almost like you've seen when guys get hurt, okay, in practice, Marcus, and what do the coaches and everybody do? What do they do?
Everyone takes a knee.
Well, they take a knee, but what I've seen also too, and you've probably seen this, is they just move the drill. They move drill from the injured guy, and move him off to the side, or hey, let's move on down the field and keep doing our work. And it's almost like that. That's almost like almost forgotten. Y'all take care of him, he's fine or whatever. And so sometimes you see guys get hurt, and they, hey, here's a little money. Seeing you over here. Sounds familiar? Yes, it does. The Monday Green Beans. No, don't shut up, man. You got to talk about these things. These things are important to talk about. Okay, and I'm just talking about society and where people are. Okay,
because what's going on here is it's a smaller scale to what is going on. Like you mentioned, right? It's a same conversation being had in the real world, but also as well in the NFL, just on a different level.
Of society in itself, sure.
Yeah,
100%. I agree. And I'm saying that the players are peasants by no means, and all that, but we're sitting there saying fair is fair, right? Fair is absolutely fair. But you can't be going in and talking about not getting a guaranteed contract to guys because you feel like they're getting too much money.
It's ridiculous too, because it's been mentioned here, but it never made sense as a little kid, right? It never made sense to me how baseball, the contract's fully guaranteed. Outside of a pitcher throwing out his shoulder, probably one of the safest pro sports. Basketball now, right? That's all that money's all guaranteed now. It's like another sport where like nowhere near as dangerous as football, but yet football is still the only one where there's a different part of the contract that's a guaranteed money, but some of the other money of the contract is funny money, and that does not real. And it's like ridiculous how like the most dangerous game, the money's not guaranteed to guys whose career could be over tomorrow. And as a little kid, it never made any sense to me.
Great argument, and they'll use it against you by saying, "Well, look, that's the reason we can't give guaranteed contracts because these guys are in a high impact game and do get hurt more frequently than others. So why would you guarantee a contract of $30 million when it could be his last play the very next time, right?" So they use that argument against you. Okay. But when you know what's being put on the line, then you had to say, hey man, listen, this stuff right here is real. There's guys out here who are really suffering. And also too, this is just a marker where guys that are playing can help produce and build wealth for their own families, maybe their own communities. And that's how you got to look at it. But these companies, corporations, and sometimes they don't care about those things as much. I will say this. One thing I loved about Lamar Hunt, okay, was Lamar cared about people. He did. Now, Lamar also was made a whole lot of money. He was making money. But I do believe he generally cared about his players, really. And we understand business is business. We do understand that part of it. But like I said before, once you start leveraging to these guys where you just, use as a piece of meat, we throw you a throwaway, that's when you got to put in perspective. And so you should be like, hey, look, we got to make sure these guys get everything that they're owed should be coming to them. And we're not going to back up from that. And they shouldn't. They shouldn't. So it's wild. I mean, that's why you had these strikes. That's why these strikes was happening back then, 83. And I think what was another one they had? The guys were like,
was it early 90s?
I think so.
The scab season.
Yeah. So those are the things that you had to contend with. And you had to fight for those things. And that's why I love the guys that laid the groundwork that came before us. Okay. And I even put myself included to what's going on right now today. I'm glad tight ends are making the type of money they're making. So much crazy because sometimes people think that you're making the money that these guys are making. It's like, hey man, I ain't making no type of money these guys are making. Seriously, they not even close. But those guys that came in that played in the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, like I was telling about some of the guys that got into the Kentucky Pro Football Hall of Fame. I think his contract, Grenarson, I think he made $8,000 for a year, and then got like a signing bonus of like $800. Something was wild number. I was like, wow. Yeah. So face Mr. Deshaun and his agent laughing all the way to the bank. Yeah, but he can laugh. But the thing is that when they making this deal, it's gonna hurt everybody else. That's what they're trying to do, keeping guys from doing it. So
I mean, at the end of the day, like the fact that the NFL stepping in to tell these teams what to do, it's like these teams we talk about all the time, right? Like, especially good organizations, right? They're not, we talk about, right, that they're very strategic with it. We make jokes about Veach being a penny pincher sometimes, but like the good teams are strategic with the money they place. The Browns just they just went really hard wanting to get a quarterback, so they paid him all that money to help him out just in case with his whole legal stuff. That's why they paid him that money. So it's like to pay off the debt or not the debts, but to pay off his legal fees. That was kind of why they gave him all that guaranteed money. That was a special situation in itself, and a weird situation with the whole massage therapy thing that he was doing. So that was kind of, but the fact that like they, even on top of that, they still go out and try to give these teams a memo of what to do. Like, don't do that in the future kind of thing. It's like, yeah, it's shady and weird, and the NFL should not be getting involved in that. Each team is its own. Each team is its own business. They don't need somebody going in and telling them what to do on top of that. So it's odd.
Yeah. Well, like you said, man, it's the owners all of them get together, and that is it's a special group that won't let a lot of people in. That's why I told you. I mean, it's why these jokers won't open up the books. They will not tell how much money they are actually making. Yeah. You imagine that? I mean, them jokers is back there like this. It's like your wallet. You know how you do your kids, you turn around, like, how much money you got? Like, here you go. You don't even show how much your wallet is. That's what the owners are doing. They ain't never gonna open the books up. As soon as the judge ordered them to open up the books and stuff, we got a deal for you. Okay, we'll come to terms with the deal. Oh, okay, but you still don't want to open up the books. So yeah, man. Yep. Owners never have enough money. Never. Nope. No. Owners, corporations, wealthy people, never enough.
So, what was the other quote you were telling me earlier, that thing that Shaq said?
Huh?
What was the thing that Shaq said about owners and money?
Oh, yeah, Shaq was saying, like, look, I'm rich. I know I'm rich. Owners, they're wealthy. That's a different type of wealth. I'm rich. The owners are wealthy. It's a difference. Very big distinction. And that's true. That's true. And we can look at it as well. Like somebody was talking about like the concession stand workers. Man, people who are just getting paid there here. They need to get paid more money. Why not? I've always been an advocate for,
wow, they only get paid tips? I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Wow.
Hopefully that's not true. That's hard to believe because it's like, hey man, you need to pay these people, a fair wage for sure. What all they had to deal with. I think we just kind of missed that in society, man.
I remember Real Sports with Brian Gumbel did a whole special. This was many years ago. I don't know if they've done anything with that since, but it was a whole special about the cheerleaders, how every team has their own dance team and cheerleaders, and they get paid nothing. I mean, yeah, they get paid like a stipend at the end of the season, but it's like nothing. And they talk about the amount of time they put into the dance team and the cheer stuff. They get paid like nothing for the whole season if you think about it. Let's see, NFL cheerleader. Oh man, this is okay. So compensation varies significantly, with some teams paying as little as $100 per game to the cheerleaders.
Wow,
that's nuts. The Cowboys, for example, have done a recent pay increase with some veterans potentially earning up to $75 per hour, and that's Dallas Cowboy girls are the creme of the cheerleading.
Mm-hmm. Wow,
man.
Yep,
That's
story
nuts.
as old as time, Marcus.
I mean, at some point, there's going to have to be a unilateral kind of strike to this kind of thing. Not just the football players. We're talking about concession stand workers. I mean, what Hearts and Roses just said. I mean, they're only getting paid tips. The whole. I mean, I don't know if the NFL concession stand people are part of an NFL union or whatnot, but they need to raise up and have a full thing. But again, if you're only getting paid tips, it's like a volunteer kind of thing.
No, they ain't gonna be part of a union. Shoot, you can't even get Walmart to unionize different people.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's tons of corporations that don't want to do that. Why? Because you had to pay people living wage and guarantee benefits and all. They don't want to be on the hook of those things. Sometimes you got to purposely want better for others. And sometimes it's about profits. It's about shareholders. We get that. That's what it is, man. That's what it is. So, all right, man, we got to move on from this because it is. I could drag through this all day.
And it's also sad too.
It is sad. It needs to change for real.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.